This is an overview of the school stroke organisation login and functionality for Bikeability link. I've just logged in using my username and password and two-factor authenticator to log in. When schools and organisations first receive an email regarding their login details, they will need to set up their authentication method when they first log in, and that can be either via an authentication email sent to the user's email address or via input of a code from the Google Authenticator app. I've already logged in, so this is a test school, and I've got a test delivery set up so we can look at all the functionality here. On the dashboard page, we can see, first of all, we've got a link through to any relevant news items. So latest news regarding any software development regarding the system is posted here. I'll click view news items. We've got a couple of test items in there. I'll return to the dashboard. Okay, the main purpose of this functionality is that we can, number one, confirm the actual numbers of booked attendees for an event. That is the numbers that will be used for the payment of the grant money for the training provider and to the grant recipient. So it's really important that either schools or organisations log in and complete the confirmed book figure during the process. It is also an interface whereby a school or organisation can monitor the training event that's underway and look at the consents that have actually come in and view, amend, or even add consents to that training delivery. So we'll start with the school contacts. We'll just quickly have a look here. We've set up some test contacts for this school. You can manage the school contacts through this interface. So anybody that perhaps is not responsible anymore, so we wish to kind of demote the contact, for want of a better description, we can remove them and they will then move down and become in visible in a deleted list. So I'm removing a contact here and saving that, and you see the contact I've just removed is now in the list below. If we wish, we can add a brand new contact for that school, and that contact will then be visible for a training provider so they can associate them with events as well. Now let's go through and actually have a look at the training events themselves, the training deliveries. So I'm going to select a test event that we've set up. We've got many set up here because this is a testing area of our website. And I'm just going to go down and select the event that we're working with. So first of all, let's have a look at confirming the booked figure. So we've got a level 1 and 2 combined course. We don't have any confirmed booked numbers at the moment for that course. As I mentioned earlier, this is the figure that the Bikeability Trust uses to actually determine the funding that is then paid to the grant recipient for the training that's taken place. So it's really important that we confirm this figure. It may be that you have 30 attendees booked, but only 26 turn up, and a training provider might actually turn up with enough staffing resource for 30 children, and if the numbers fall short, they still need to be paid the full amount. So I'm going to confirm for my event here that we got 6 attendees and literally confirm that. In terms of the window for adding this figure, it can be done at any point up to 1 month before the start of the event and up to the end date of the event itself. Now I'm going to go back to the training delivery screen and we'll look at the consent information for that particular event. Okay, so here's my training delivery, and we can see we've got summary information at the top. We know which grant period it is, and we have got the training provider associated, the start and the end date for the delivery. We've got the delivery location and the associated instructors that will be coming from the training provider. There are notes indicated here, which are notes that can be provided by the training provider as guidance to both the school and the instructors that are taking part in the training. That, for example, could be a note regarding perhaps some building work that's been undertaken in a part of a school that, and therefore that area should be avoided in terms of using that playground in that area. So we'll have a look at the bottom here. We've got 3 tabs. The first tab shows us the consent link and QR code. If a consent's been sent home to parents on a letter, the QR code can be included on a letter. If the school is using an electronic system to communicate with parents regarding the up and coming Bikeability course, then the URL can be included instead. Now let's have a look at the actual consent summary. So we've got a summary here. We can see we've received 7 consents. We've got confirmed 6 booked, and at the moment I've got 6 attended because I've already gone and completed some of the training using the instructor app. If we look at the consents themselves, we've got a list of all the consents here. If any of these need amending or a note needs adding to those consents, it's a very simple process of selecting the rider, and then if we want to, we can edit that consent. We could even remove that consent as well. If the rider is no longer taking part and the parent has withdrawn consent, we can remove that consent from the list. That rider will no longer appear in the instructor app for Bikeability instructors who are there on site doing the training. So let's have a look at editing a consent. So we edit a consent here. We've got all the information provided in terms of the rider's forename and surname, parent, guardian, emergency contacts, consent information, all the way down, and that's for Adam. We've got his date of birth and his year group at the top. So if we want to change some of that consent information, we may need to add an additional note for the instructors. So we can update the consent information there. It's a fairly quick process, and then we'll go back to our delivery screen. Okay, if we have any last minute consents coming inbound to the school, so perhaps we're a few days before the course, and perhaps parents had trouble consenting electronically, but they phoned the school and said they'd still like their child to take part, then we can use the add rider function and add an entirely new consent. Do that now. So we ask for the child's forename, surname, date of birth, year group, gender, ethnicity. That's because if the rider characteristics are built for reporting back to Active Travel England, they're built from the attendees that actually take part. So we need to collect that data either at source when we add a consent, or by providing that information to the training provider who can log that information onto the system later. So I'm add in the parent details. Dummy email address there, because we're not actually dealing with live data. So we can say overall consent's been given, perhaps it's been taken over the phone, name of who's taken it over the phone, and the reason. We've got various questions, say whether the child can cycle, has a bike. We've got notes here, SEND notes, any other information, medical notes, is photography allowed, would the parent like to receive the Bikeability Club e-newsletter or the training provider e-newsletter, and then finally any extra notes from the teaching staff. We can then create that rider. If we go back to our list of riders, we can see that we've added our new test rider at the bottom of the list. That new rider will be added immediately, and as long as the instructors update the Bikeability app that they use to record the training outcomes, they will be able to see that new rider immediately within the app thereafter. Next bit of function on this page is the download of the consent data. This will download an entire list of all riders that have consented along with their relevant information. You may wish to download this list in CSV format if you wish to have a quick list to compare against the register to see who has or has not consented for the training to take place. And that is pretty much it in terms of the school functionality. Thanks very much.